Welcome to the Fast Mode Studios. I'm Tara Neil, and with me today is Aycan Gömeç, the VP of Marketing at Etiya. Etiya is a leading global vendor of customer experience focused AI driven digital transformation solutions. Founded in 2004, Etiya has over 1,600 employees in 8 countries across 3 continents. Welcome, Aycan. Great to have you on today's episode.
Hi Tara, thank you. It's so good to have you and have a chat with you today about our topic. And thanks for having me.
Awesome. I know that, today we're going to talk about one of the very exciting facets of telecom operations, and that is CX, and CX is evolving so fast. We have a lot of questions, and, let's dive right in. So, one of the first things that we want to know is that what are the biggest shifts you see today in the market environment, regarding to CX in customer expectations towards telcos?
Actually, we see that the biggest shift is that customers are no longer comparing telcos with telco brands. There is a huge environment of brands they are having like connection with, and they are comparing every experience to the digital native brands and streaming platforms, maybe, and e-commerce leaders and hyperscalers. So the game is changing for a while actually. And as a result of this, the expectations have changed dramatically. So the customers has very little tolerance for frictions, and they want instant responses. Quick issue resolution, seamless onboarding for especially a telco. That's a huge point that the telcos need to focus, since this is the first time they are meeting with their customers and they need to have a great connection at the beginning. It's like first time meeting someone. And also at the same time, customers expect experience that feel personal. We are talking about personalization for a while, but with the recent changes in the technology and everything, the personalization becomes much more important in this area. So uh, they expect to feel like just one person. And this can be reflected in channel flexibility. Maybe you connected with the customers through a call center or a store or online through an app. They want to be seen as one. So that's the three things that I can mention, which is changing in the telco industry for customer experience as well. And also, I want to add, like, network quality remains essential. We have seen it like with 5G and everything, but it's no longer the main differentiator there. So for for the telco operators, just focusing on the connectivity and like billing and operations is not the solution right now to increase and drive loyalty and long-term retention. And that's the new currency for telco operators. Loyalty is the main North Star metric for growth.
Yeah, awesome. So, that's the kind of trend we see in the market today. And you pointed out rightly, a lot of users, consumers, subscribers are comparing telcos to digital native brands. And like you pointed out, they are subscribing to so many other services like streaming services. So from there, I think telcos are taking the cue and they are trying to see how they can differentiate themselves. And definitely, they are turning to CX as a major differentiator. So realizing that, why our traditional CX models may no longer be enough to meet these new expectations.
Actually, traditional CX models were designed for a very different customer experience. Right now, they are having experiences with other brands. In the past, it used to be like the connectivity, as I said, and billing, and like only like transactional interaction with the customer. But right now, it's changing, as we said, and legacy environments often prevent organizations from like having a complete view of the customer. and they could not respond quickly with the changing needs of the customer in this new era. But the technology is only a part of the challenge, but the bigger shift is organizational, I think, for telco operators. The future of CX is more proactive than reactive. And everybody is talking about like customer centricity, and like it's like a slogan these days, but it has to become an operating model in telco industry to understand what they need, and what how can they prevent the problems they are facing, and what's the expectation from the customer. So these requires both modern technology and a company-wide commitment, like putting the customer at the center of every decision. So right now, the legacy environments are in a huge transition. We see that in some of our partners, since they really want to understand the customer, and they are lucky actually. They have data, since some of the brands that are trying to make some personalization improvements, they do not have data. So telco operators are lucky for that, but now they are designed for a different era, so there needs to be an update for that as well.
I think you touched pretty important points there. You talked about the organizational readiness. You talked about the technology, new technologies that they have to embrace, to enable the transition to a new CX model. You also talked about the importance of having a full view of the customer, where analytics will come into play. And I think, talking about all this, there's a very, I wouldn't say it's new, but it's been there, this technology, but it's really changing very fast. And we all know what it is. It's AI. And today we are talking about, from traditional AI, we are all embracing, agentic AI capabilities, and AI is moving really fast. So coming back to the topic of CX, we know that AI is being incorporated in a lot of CX workflows. But let's examine whether AI is what it really is. So, some say that AI is overhyped. So, what is your opinion on that? And where does AI really create value or impact in telecom customer experience today?
I think AI deserves the hype, but it's not a standalone like technology project for any company, especially for telcos, since we have legacy
Mm-hmm.
systems up and running and we need them. And also, we have like good examples, measurable benefits from AI when we embedded AI with a customer-centric KPI. Like right now, the buzzwords are like token maximization, like how much token you spent, how much
Mm-hmm.
investment
Mm-hmm.
you did that. But
Mm-hmm.
mm, I don't see that like telcos or in the industry, people are not mentioning about the result for customers. What they get when we spent like 1 million tokens. So
Mm-hmm.
it needs to have a shift there.
Mm-hmm.
The first area was customer interaction that
Mm-hmm.
we need to focus, like with conversational AI and Gen AI powered assistants provide
Mm-hmm.
faster resolution time and support and better self-service experiences. But AI also can analyze sentiments and like prioritize customers based on their like footprints and signals and everything like that. So what's the end result that we are targeting should be in the middle of every investment and every decision that we need to do. So AI needs to have like customer centric KPIs
Mm-hmm.
rather than like token spent and which vendor or provider you are using it. And it's not a standalone project, as I said, and it's the real one when it comes to help deliver better customer results and at the end better revenue and growth for telco operators.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, I think that's a great perspective, on how we can better use AI for CX. Because yes, like you said, there are a lot of investments going into AI, and if we are not focused on the end results but looking at technology for its own sake, then we are not going to go anywhere. And talking about that, right? We know that one of the platforms for CX, of course, is BSS,
Yes.
and AI is starting to appear, across a lot of BSS platforms.
Mhm.
So, what, in your opinion, how must BSS platforms evolve to truly enable AI-driven CX?
To enable AI-driven CX, BSS platforms need to move like beyond traditional transactional processing, as we talked earlier, and become intelligent decision-making platforms. So we need to give that capability to BSS. And in order to do that, it starts with a unified data foundation. One step behind the personalization is unification, unified data foundation, and that needs to provide real-time customer insights across the entire journey of the customer. And also at Etiya, we believe embedded AI, like in layering in BSS and using it to create a smooth experience for customers, starts with digital twin intelligence. So we can collect signals through digital twins, and we can collect them like in the last couple of years, but for example, the traditional churn model generally collects like 18 signals per customer. But with digital twin, we can have like 130 or more than that signals to identify if this customer is going to churn or not. So this is the basic algorithm you can think of. But with the digital twin, like it's like building blocks. And together with digital twin and AI, with the help of AI, we help organizations understand customer more deeply and automate complex processes. Still, telco has some complex processes, and we need to have them. They are not going to disappear with AI, but we need to make them as smooth as possible. And most importantly, technology must translate into business outcomes, as I said earlier. So, what's in it for the customer? Why I'm automating this flow and why I am using AI, how it's going to impact that. And they need to have clear targets at the beginning of each project.
Wow. And I know that, Etiya's digital twin of customer is a very impressive and a very remarkable concept that allows telcos to, truly understand their customer 360 view now, and also predict their future behavior, which is extremely important in, anticipating potential changes, churn, and understanding their demand in the future. And so, talking about future, right? If we are looking at 2 to 3 years ahead, what will differentiate the CX leaders from the laggards?
Okay, right now it's very hard to like
Mhm,
predict what's going to
mhm,
happen like in a long term, but in a short midterm time, we are expecting that the biggest difference will be how deeply organization integrate AI into the way they operate. So there is an operation going on, and we need to integrate AI into that. And while doing that, we need to focus on what's the end result for the customer that we are serving. And the leaders won't simply use AI for automation, and that's the target right now. And they are using it to transform decision making process and making a platform that is not uh, reactive, like proactive, using AI with like proactive approaches. And we will see AI augmented workforces and digital twin intelligence supporting the decision, and in real time, autonomous multi-agent operations driving speed and efficiency. We see that creating like a agent is one solution, but
mhm.
how they interact with each other and how they support each other for CX is the ultimate goal right now. So The agents needs to talk to each other, and they can be specialized
Mm-hmm.
on one topic or two, whatever we assigned for them. But the connection between them and how they react to a customer
Mm-hmm.
request or something, that's the crucial part. And the most successful organization will also shift from, like as I
Mm-hmm.
said, reactive to proactive. The customers are expecting them, and they want the telco operators to know them better than themselves. I think since we can predict churn before even the customer knows that he's going to churn, because we are collecting signals, and with digital twin, uh, that's the differentiation point that we need to focus on right now with our operators, and in the evolution of like CX for the next couple of years. And the next generation of telecom leaders need to focus on CX with the glass of like loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty is the new currency. If you got the loyalty, you can have a growth in scale, and it's a tough job. But with the technology and like with digital twin and everything, the AI agents, it's becoming easier for telco operators to identify what they are expecting, the
Mm-hmm.
customers are expecting from them.
Okay. And yeah, I guess, when you said about telcos knowing when they might churn, even before the subscriber knows that they might churn, that is something that, that, yeah, that's only possible with AI capabilities and the right tools. But, if you're a telco, why not have that capability, right? I mean, things are becoming very competitive. And like in the beginning you told, I mean, about how we are not just competing against other telcos or maybe digital brands and MVNOs. We are now competing against completely non-telco folks out there, and you need this kind of predictive abilities. And I think, yeah, that's AI is the way to go, and the platforms that provide that natively built in will definitely help operators to forge ahead. So excellent. And I guess, with that, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you, Aycan, for sharing these wonderful insights on the role of AI in telecom CX.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Tara.
Awesome. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for listening. If you want to learn more, visit the link below and follow us for more updates and insights as we continue to uncover the latest in technology and telecommunications. See you in our next session.